Luca Urlando just dropped one of the fastest ever 200 butterfly swims at the Sacramento stop of the TYR Pro Swim Series. This meet is just 1 week after the Division I Men's NCAA Swimming and Diving Championships. I always enjoyed the stop of the Pro Swim Series that's right after NCAAs, because it's interesting to see the college swimmers that try and maintain their peak form for a long course meet. At those NCAA championships, Urlando won his first ever NCAA title in the 200 butterfly. Earlier in the season, he had already broken the NCAA record in the 200 butterfly with a 137.17, just clipping Jack Conger's long-standing 137.35 from 2017. Then at NCAAs, while he won that title, he also obliterated his own record with a 136.43, becoming the first man to ever break 137 in the event. Maybe the most impressive part of the swim was the guts that Urlando had during it, because he was out in a blazing 45.21, which is just stupid fast. I think Rowdy put it best here.
45.2! That might be too fast!
45.21 would have placed 25th in the 100 butterfly at this meet, and it's just off of the 44.94 that it took to earn a second swim in the prelims, just for some perspective on how fast that is. After a swim like that, seeing Luca Urlando entered at this stop of the Pro Swim Series had me pretty excited. And oh boy did he deliver in that 200 butterfly. Just like in his NCAA swim, Urlando stepped on the gas immediately. He had a 3/10 lead at the 50 and then over a full second lead at the 100. Urlando kept extending his lead through the entire race, and at the end blasted a massive personal best of 152.37. That smashes his own Pro Swim Series record of 153.84 from 2019, which is also his former personal best from when he was 17. Yeah, almost 6 years since going a best time in this event, and then he just obliterates it by almost a second and a half. You need to remember that in 2018 and 2019, Urlando was a fast rising star, especially in this 200 butterfly. But after that, he had a string of nasty shoulder injuries, including dislocations and surgery. Unsurprisingly, this did sideline Urlando for a little bit. We saw him back in action last summer when he qualified for his first ever Olympic team in that 200 butterfly. He was a bit off of his best time from 2019, but you can't really complain when you make an Olympic team, and especially after dealing with all those injuries. Unfortunately, Urlando just missed the semifinals of the 200 butterfly while in Paris, swimming a 156.18 to place 17th and just barely missed the top 16. This past NCAA season was the first for Urlando after dealing with his injuries, and I think is a much better indication of where he actually is after his bounce back. Looking at the race from Sacramento, Luca Urlando completely dominated the entire field here. He had the fastest splits of the field on the first 50, the second 50, the third 50, and the fourth 50. Meaning not only did he take that early lead, but he did nothing but extend that lead during the entire race. In addition to being a massive personal best for Urlando, this time also jumps him all the way to number 4 on the all-time top performers list, behind only Christoph Milok, Leon Marchand, and Michael Phelps, which is pretty good company to be in. This is also a huge leap up the all-time rankings, as you can probably imagine with such a big time drop. With his old best time of 153.84, he was ranked 18th all time. As noted earlier, this was a new Pro Swim Series record in the 200 butterfly, and it was also very close to being a new US Open record as well. The US Open record currently stands at a 152.20 set by Michael Phelps at the 2008 Olympic trials. Was Phelps any good in 08? I have no idea. 152.37 is also almost half a second faster than Ilya Haroun went to win bronze at the Paris Olympics. Looking at the splits from his old personal best to this swim, it's clear that Luca is a lot more comfortable with his front end speed. He's out much faster on the first 350s, a little over half a second on each one, and then his final 50 is just 1200 slower, a worthwhile trade-off overall. And interestingly, this is consistent in the improvements he's made in yards this year as well, with him being much faster on the first 350s and then only a little slower on the final 50. The main difference is that in the yards pool, he is ridiculously faster on the second and third 50s, over a second on each. I'm looking at this new best time from Urlando with the assumption that he's still carrying on his taper from NCAAs, because if he just went that time under a full training load, I'm downright terrified. But going that fast on a possibly imperfect taper just because it can be hard to extend it out that extra week, especially after intense competition and travel, does possibly mean that he might have more to give later this summer. I, for one, am incredibly excited to see another fast swim from Luca Urlando. He was really fun to watch develop as a younger swimmer, and I was personally devastated when he was sidelined by those injuries, and I'm glad to see him bounce back. And now it's like he's right back to where he would have been if there were never any issues in the first place, which just adds a whole extra level of impressiveness, at least to me. What did you think about this 200 butterfly from Luca Urlando? And what other swims from the Sacramento Pro Swim Series stood out to you? Let me know down below.